You are watching someone burn a perfect replica of a Louis Vuitton handbag. They might also burn a paper smartphone, a scale model of a villa, or a designer suit. To an outsider, this looks like a bonfire of play money, or maybe an absurd environmental hazard. But this fire is highly controlled, and the items being destroyed are not toys. This image shows what is known as a hell banknote. Look at the portrait of the Jade Emperor, a central deity in Chinese mythology, printed right next to astronomical numerical denominations. This is a legitimate, highly structured spiritual currency. Traditional Chinese theology doesn't view the afterlife as a post-material paradise. Instead, the underworld is a massive, sprawling bureaucracy. Spirits have living expenses, they owe spiritual debts, and they even need cash to bribe underworld officials. In this system, the dead are exclusively consumers. They inhabit a world that mirrors our economy, but lacks the means to produce its own wealth. This leaves the deceased entirely dependent on the living to provide the resources they need to navigate the afterlife. To understand how a spiritual economy developed, we have to look back to the Shang Dynasty. At that time, ascension to heaven was exclusive to the royal family. Sustaining these royal ancestors required immense wealth, sacrifices of real livestock, bronze, and actual jade. This is an oracle bone from that era. The vertical rows of carved inscriptions you see here record divinations about those exact burning rites. It is a historical ledger of elite sacrifice. By the Warring States and Han periods, theology shifted. A concept called the Yellow Springs emerged, a sprawling, subterranean afterlife that was open to commoners, not just kings. Instead of a narrow, vertical pathway for a heavenly elite, the afterlife became a massive, horizontal underground network. Everyone entered the same bureaucratic system. This created an economic bottleneck. Millions of commoner souls required resources underground, but their families couldn't afford real gold or jade. The Han Dynasty devised a workaround. Families began burying cheap clay, often glazed yellow to simulate gold. These clay musicians and dancers were early replicas, meant to provide comfort and status without bankrupting the living. When paper was first invented and refined during the Wei and Jin dynasties, it provided the ultimate solution. Paper was cheap, easily manipulated, and could be mass-produced to look like actual currency. Fire became the metaphysical exchange rate. It allowed families to convert cheap, mass-producible paper into the spiritual assets required by the underworld's bureaucracy. That same logic has scaled into what we can call the mirror principle. Whenever human society invents new technologies or financial systems, the spirit world instantly adopts them. Looking at this printed catalog of paper offerings, you can see exactly how specific this transfer gets. Ancestors aren't receiving generic tunics. They are getting tailored suits, printed dresses, and branded sportswear. The offerings have escalated far beyond clothing. Families commission full-scale paper cars with license plates, flat-screen televisions, and complex architectural models of multi-story homes. You can find paper credit cards, paper smartphones and tablets, and even paper medicine. This hyper-specificity directly reflects the anxieties of the living, who want to ensure their ancestors have every modern convenience and remedy. This level of intricate detail has moved Joss paper beyond simple ritual. These scale models are now featured in international design festivals and museum exhibitions, categorized as a specialized form of contemporary paper sculpture. The Chinese afterlife is a dynamic, evolving mirror. It remains perfectly synchronized with human technology and capitalism, updating to match the world of the living. If we look away from the spectacular mansions and luxury cars, the core of this practice is intensely quiet. It often looks like a pair of hands, carefully folding gold foil paper into traditional ingots. Psychologists use the term continuing bonds grief to describe this. It is the deep human need to maintain an active, ongoing relationship with someone who has died. Death creates a painful, practical vacuum. Suddenly, you can no longer cook a meal for your grandfather or buy a gift for a parent. The instinct to care for them is still there, but the physical outlet is gone. During communal events like the Hungry Ghost Festival, that private grief becomes a massive public grid. Thousands of people gather to lay out food baskets and light incense. participating in an organized societal act of continued care. The physical action of folding, stacking, and burning paper solves that psychological vacuum. It provides a tangible language of provision. Sending material wealth through the fire is a demonstration of continued responsibility. It is a commitment that even in a world beyond our own, those we love will not go without.